Hello everyone. Going to be doing some business development for the next hour. Not sure what we're getting into exactly. Might do some growth marketing. Well, we have a buddy. We have a buddy on mute. So, I'm new to this Microsoft Streams live event. I'm not really sure how it works. I don't know how to get a share link on here. I have this copy join info. This is going to be the first time that we've translated one of our meetings into multiple languages. So that's exciting. We have this in 6 different languages. And if that goes well, we're going to be able to send out a lot more events all over the world, transcribe that very easily. So what's going on, Lyra? Are you here? Are you ready to party or what?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm ready to party. Why did you mute me?
Well,
And
it's a live event, and you're the presenter of the live
okay.
event. Or sorry, you're
Oh yeah,
the producer of the live event.
producer. Okay.
So you should have the production screen on your side, and you're the one that gets to show whenever my screen goes live, right?
Okay.
Am I accurate on that?
Yes. Yes. So I'm sending the link out. You were talking about the link. So here's the attendee link.
Are you sure it's for attendees? Because the only one I have is for other presenters. I can copy a link over here, and I can just get one for presenters.
There are 2 links. I'm pretty sure this one is for attendee link. It's for attendees.
Am I able to get it, or only you?
I think you're able to get it too. If you go to the meeting, you go to calendar, and then you click the meeting, and you should see invite attendees at the top of the window.
So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's only showing me the work week. Let's show the whole week. Okay. Get attendee leak. How do you feel about that? You taught me something.
I feel cool about that.
You want to tell people in Sandlot that we're doing this?
Yeah. So business development.
Yeah, I want to keep it pretty generic. I'm also live right now on I'm live on Twitch and the other feeds. I'm going to go check those out. Make sure we're actually live. I'm not sharing my screen over there. It just has my start screen.
I mean, we've seen it in other regions, that miracle run from 15th to all the way up.
Yeah, it says I'm live. And it says we're starting. Well, it did anyway. Now it has a black screen on there. Cool, my page is coming together. It's looking nice.
Good.
So you can hear me fine?
Yes.
You can see my screen fine? Are you watching it?
I'm not watching at this moment. I'm posting in the Sandlot chat.
All right, so I think I'm going to go ahead and start sharing. But we're still in pre-roll. You want to go live on your end and push me? Push me live?
Yeah. One moment. Okay. Yep, we are pre-live. Now I'm gonna send live. Okay, I am going to click start. Are you ready?
No. No, I'm not.
Let me know when you... All right.
I'm going to tell the Filipinas that can't really speak English that well to come and join us.
Okay.
It should show up all the different languages. I put 6 languages on here for this meeting.
Right.
Does it show it to you?
Pick Chinese.
Yes, I did. Yeah, so you can give that attendee link in WeChat if you want.
I don't see the translation the whole time, but Sam was able to see it last time.
Who?
So I think you, Sam, like last time.
Oh,
'cause
when
I
you
have
two were
two
working
screens.
together.
Yeah, I have 2 screens, so I can't see the translations, but Sam was able to see that, so you might be able to see that later. Pumpkin cheesecake roll. That sounds really good. It's the time of the year. Need to make some pumpkin cheesecake roll. My computer is really hot. Thanks the effects. Do you mind if I restart my computer and join you later?
I do mind. You're here.
Okay.
Suck it up.
Okay.
Close out your minicam. You always keep that minicam open.
No,
you have to force quit that.
I think it was the VPN. I turned that off.
Well, sometimes you have to force quit stuff.
Yes, I do. We need to force quick things that we don't need, do we?
Well, you don't have to restart your computer to clean your computer up. You can go to your system processes, set it up over there. Well, I'm ready to rock and roll. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, go for it.
Okay. Can you share your screen?
Oh, I suppose so. Give you guys access to my world.
Send live. Alright. Come on, go. Go live.
Alright, I'm live on the other platforms too. So, essentially, what I want to cover, I want to talk about how to do business and how to be excited about it and just how to treat it like it's just part of life. It's not a job that you go to. It's not a task you have to complete. It's just part of your day. And the more casual you treat it, and the more you incorporate it into all the other things that you do, the more you're going to be successful at it.
Right.
Okay, so let's figure out what you're working on, and I'm going to act as your assistant. That's what I'm going to do for the next hour or so. So let's figure out what you're working on. At the same time, I want to brag about the last work that I did. So
What did you do?
For those that are new here, I am a CEO and president of a nonprofit, and I'm sharing a lot of the work that I've done, and I'm sharing the process that I go through. And I'm showing you just how to have passion and curiosity for business. And at the same time, I'm not really going to focus on coaching people. I'm going to focus a lot more on, I'll coach Lyra, who's here with me. And if you want an opportunity to get coached, to be on a good team, then join our Ignite Curiosity program. And then Lyra and I are going to tackle some actual business now. So I'll turn my filter off so you can see this.
Okay.
Okay, so I fixed this site up. I added 4 different tabs in here. So we have our Sales Hub, which takes you to the leads. Let's click on that. We have the Nonprofit Hub, RFP Management, and then Talent Management. So those are 4 huge sections. That's all inside of Dynamics. So this guy, actually, he doesn't go right into that program. I'm going to have to change his link. Yeah, I'll change his link directly to this. So here's all of this. And then we don't have, which one was that link? The Nonprofit Hub? Yes. And then the pipeline, that's all our responses. So that was the 3rd link. That was this guy. And the last one is the talent link. Oh, and I already have an account here. So once we get you rolling on a project, I think I want to teach you how this whole platform works. And I want this to be our new onboarding platform. It looks pretty cool, but it's probably going to take us 3 months to set it up and really get it running nicely. And this will replace the orientation we have on Ignite Curiosity. So it's pretty small. It only has these few areas here. So you can put jobs in. You can look at the people that have applied. You can go to your templates for different jobs that you have. You have email templates too to talk to various people.
Okay.
But then you also have this little drop down. So you can go to attract people, to give offers, and then to onboard people. So it's those 3 areas.
And this is Dynamic 365 for talent?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm waiting to hear back from the Microsoft team, figure out what the pricing is on this to give it to our whole company. Still have no clue.
Yeah, that would be great.
So if we go to the onboard, how that works, it can be very automated. It's going to be time consuming for us to put stuff in here. And I don't think there's templates yet. Oh yeah, they have retail sales associate, a manager. So it says used 1,000 times by other companies. So that's pretty cool. Recruiter, accountant, and more in the template gallery. So they have tons of existing ones already. So that's cool. Customer service, new starter standard. And it looks like that's not made by Microsoft. So we'd probably get the ones that are made by Microsoft. Let's get this guy. So it says welcome, company mission, organization hierarchy, and then the people themselves just mark it complete. And the reason it looks like this, they designed it so that people can do it on their phones. I mean, it still looks really good here on a phone.
Okay.
Active contacts, resources. So I'm going to go ahead and save as my template. and save. So now we have it down here in one of our templates. So anyway, I don't want to work on this right now. We already have a system that works, but this is going to be something soon that we incorporate into the company. Exciting, right?
Right.
Yeah. But like I said, we're going to focus on what you're working on. So let's close these out. Well, I guess I will go more over what I did in this proposal list. Okay, so I added a new video in here that has the overview. You've seen this one, right?
Which one?
Can you see my mouse? I'm circling around it.
I cannot see your mouse because I have two like small screens on my screen. So I can hardly see the words anyway, but I just kind of look at the picture and try to understand that what you're doing. So no, I cannot see your mouse.
Well, you're in producer mode, it sounds like. You don't have to stay in producer mode. You can just be there temporarily just to organize things, and then you have other buttons to do other stuff.
I think I need to play around with it to understand it better.
Well, go for it, because I need to talk to you. I want to share what we're doing on here. So you act like you're going to do that a year from now. You do stuff today, man.
Yeah.
So like right now, this very moment, click.
Okay.
Start clicking. That's how business works.
I'm clicking and see
Well,
if I can make the screen bigger.
But you weren't clicking fast enough, because if I had to say it, then that wasn't fast enough.
Okay. I'm not sure how to deal with this. Can we just keep this rolling?
Nope, we're waiting on you. We're waiting on you
me to what?
to bring up the full screen on your computer instead of having two split screens where you say you can't see mine. So let's try again.
Bring up two screens. How do I bring up the full screens? Let's see. My attendee, live caption, camera, FaceTime.
Let's not mumble into
minicam.
the voice. Nobody needs to hear mumbling.
Okay. What's this? Switch camera. Okay.
I think there's a little button here to make it full screen in the upper right. Man,
Upper right.
What does it say? It says leave. There's a button that says leave, and right beside of the leave button, there's a little button that I think makes things go full screen.
Leave. Show health and performance. Show Q&A. Meeting notes. Show conversation. Show participants. Show setting. Is that this one? Network device.
Wonder if you can share your screen with me.
I think I could. Let me try it.
Watching though. Oh, maybe. Yeah, try it out.
So, turn camera on. This is for a minicam though.
Okay, well I see your minicam. So if you can go back into,
Say it one more time.
if you can go back
It
in,
was going.
if you can go back into Teams, even through your minicam, you can choose different sources though.
I think I can. So, FaceTime. Now.
Yeah, be very careful. Don't mumble into the microphone. Yeah,
Okay.
like sit up really tall. You have to act like an athlete. Business is athletics. And
Okay.
you can't get confused thinking that you can relax right now. You have to open your eyes
Okay.
100%. You have to breathe deeply. You have to sit up
Okay.
tall. And when you open your mouth to talk, you need to realize the whole world's listening.
Okay.
If you want to be taken seriously, you have to act seriously.
Okay. So now let me turn this on.
And then you're going back to mumbling again. We see you, by the way.
I know you see me. Okay, I think it's right here. Share. Desktop. Share. Okay. My desktop.
Okay, we see you. Okay,
Yeah.
so send live. Queue. Live. Need help. Leave.
Yeah, I was saying to live.
Okay, so I wonder how I'm seeing this. Because you took over the share. That's why.
Right.
I did it before when I was a producer. I was just being a participant. I was just watching. Stop sharing, mute all. I'm trying to see what buttons you might have on there. Can you hide the screen on the far right? Does that like slide out and disappear?
This one?
Yeah, does that whole screen just disappear if you click away from it?
I can put minimize. If I click it, it doesn't do anything, but I can minimize it.
So it stays there the whole time?
I'm not sure why it was there. I'm not sure.
You're saying you're not sure why that screen is on the right side?
Correct.
Okay, up at the top it has an X for device settings.
Yeah.
Can you click that X?
Yes.
Okay, well that's what I wanted to do. Yeah, I wanted to get rid of it. Well, I saw another button. Okay, so maybe you're not full screen with this app. Did you make this app full screen?
I did not do anything.
Let's go to the far left and click your little green button to make it full screen.
Full screen.
And then, yeah, I don't really see a full screen button. What if you click on the live event, that red box area? If you click into that, does it bring it up bigger for you?
No.
What if you double click into it?
Double click?
Yeah.
Tell me to mute participant.
Well, I'll do it sometime whenever I'm a producer. And,
Okay.
well, I don't know. I did see a different button. You don't have it on your screen, but maybe it's only on Windows. Yeah, up by the leave button, there is another button that I see on the... I don't see it here now, but There's another
Maybe we
button.
could click needs help.
Nah, I'm already on the help page for the desktop.
Okay.
All right, well, let's go back into mine.
All right, stop sharing.
Well, that's not how you stop sharing. That's not how that works.
Okay, yeah, I need to wait on you first.
Yeah, you always take what's over in the queue and then you push it up live so that it never disappears and goes to nothingness.
Right. But I think I'll be fine just watching like the smaller screens.
All right. Well, you need to try a lot harder to sit up tall and treat this like athletics.
Okay.
It's very obvious that you're very casual. I mean, that's why bosses make people go into the office. That's why they make them wear a suit. That's why you have to be there by 9 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock sometimes. I mean, I know people that work 6 a.m. You say right, but you don't do these things. When people hear me, they always ask me, calm down. They always ask me, don't try as hard. They say, don't be as passionate. And you realize all the things they tell me to stop doing are the things that successful people have.
Okay.
And if people keep reminding you, try harder, sit up tall, pay attention, use full sentences. If they're always doing that, then you want to see that it's an entire personality shift that you want to do, and that's what's going to create success. So to work in a remote environment, you have to try 10 times harder than you would in an office. If not 100 times harder.
We need to learn like how to discipline ourselves. Especially we don't have someone else to discipline us.
So I'd like you to step into that mode if we're going to go live together. Otherwise, you don't need to be here.
Okay.
So I asked about 5 minutes ago to sit up tall, and that has not happened yet. I don't know if you're laying down. I don't know if you think this is vacation time, but this is like the middle 200% of the workday. This is the most important time.
I am actually sitting up right now. I'm not really laying down.
So you don't want to do any mumbling at all. You don't want to act like this is relaxed. You want to give 100%.
I can do that.
So I'm wondering, I don't know any other way for you to see this. Well, I'll teach it and you can look back over it later if you need to.
Okay.
So we added all the phone numbers in here for the sales agents.
Okay.
We added all the resources for all the places that they could potentially get government style stuff here on the main page. This is all for government. And then we have all of our documents, access to that. And then it also dynamically will show the latest 4 files that are being worked on. And in the future, these are not going to look the same as what I have up here. The only reason they look the same now is because I just made this today.
I see.
So, and then I made this long article here. So let's go into it. And you saw the start of this article. I started writing. You were here when I put the quote in.
Right.
But that was about it. So I added a lot more information about who our companies are, how to access our companies. I added an overview video of how our company is held together. I took that map that we made and I put it in here as a photo. And then I have a screenshot going to Dow Limited, and I have a screenshot going to Dow Learning. And then I have a overview of how the sales technique works, the bleach method works.
Okay.
And you don't have to respond and say okay. If you don't have anything else to offer besides okay, then you don't need to share it.
All right.
And then we have opportunities. So opportunities are only areas for people to, how do I say that besides the word opportunity? Energy intake and outtake. And I have a few repeated sources on here as well, as the FBO, afgrants.gov. But then I have some very casual stuff. If they're looking for very tiny gigs, contracts, freelance, and then if they're looking for jobs. But I didn't finish this because I also gave you a very long bullet list of places you could look for stuff. And
Right.
and right now it's just random in here. So saying right's the same as saying okay. It just doesn't help. So I want to take this bullet list and I want to incorporate it into the opportunities list. So and I even wrote up there that anybody can do that if they want to. They can come in and spend their own time. Then I also put a very short little quick cheat sheet to what the bleach method is over here. Just to remind people what it is when they're on sales calls. So that is really it for this area. Do you have any questions on it?
No questions so far. I'm actually trying to get on the SharePoint site myself so I could see it bigger.
Well, you used the word trying. I don't really understand that word. What does that mean?
Because the page is loading. It's just quite slow.
Okay, well, check that out when you get time or whenever it works on your side, and then share it with your team, figure out who you might want to collaborate with you on that. And then we also want to do quality control on it to make sure that it reflects who we are and what we do. So that's going to be a process. I don't mind bringing a few people on board for this almost immediately, but then I'm going to just be overwatching what they do and make sure it has quality control. And after we get it down and we have a good process with it, then I'll bring a dozen people on there. But today, right now, I'm happy to bring one or two on there. Let them play around with it, see what they can create.
Which tab did you click on this article you wrote?
The photo that looks like the banner here. It says Our Approach and Resources.
Our approach and resources. Okay, I can see the page now.
So what I'm really trying to figure out is what can I do on my end to help people not have blockages in their way. So that way when they show up for their daily stand-ups, they can't sit there and say, I can't do my task because I don't have, and then they fill in the blank. So if I do my job right, then this framework looks beautiful, has everything that they need to be successful, and then they can completely control this whole office, this whole department, without any input from anybody above them. And I feel like we're there. I feel like, it can always be better, but I feel like it's 95% of what we need it to be. They definitely need training on how Dynamics works. They need training on our philosophy. But we already have a few videos in the beginning that teach that as well. What do you think? Any questions?
No questions so far. I like that you put the things together. I think if we have a SharePoint website, this is very self-explained about what they should do. And that's why you told me many times that we need to spend 1 hour here, and that will turn into like 1,000 hours of training for others. And I like it.
Okay, so like I said, I want to spend time on what you need, and I want to assist you. So
Okay.
So I'm a vessel for your success.
Okay. So right now I feel like I have a lot more smaller things I need to deal with than the bigger things. Like I have the GHC girls emailed me. I need to respond to the email about the project. And then I have the staff, I have the candidates in China that they are waiting on a job, and I need to give them like clear job description, and then like how they are going to get paid, and just all these smaller things. And I have a meeting on Monday morning and a meeting on Monday evening, and I just want to prepare for that. And these are all very small things
Well,
that I
you
just need
say,
to
yeah,
spend
you're saying
time
it's
on
small
them.
things. Let me have it, my turn to talk. You're saying that they are small things, but you are also acting like I am not going to be helping you on that. And you're confusing and not understanding. So, like I've taught you before, business is art, and I'm the top artist with the company. So, when you get a project you have to do, you go to that artist, I help you create it, and then after we create one, yes, you can duplicate it 10 times to everybody else. But
Okay.
I don't want you sending out an email that hasn't been groomed and you don't have a script and a template for it. After we get that
Okay.
script put together, then you can upload it in the database. Everyone else can use it anytime we talk to that type of staff or that type of
Mm,
that archetype. So you essentially have to see, do we have a resource for this archetype? And if we don't, then you come to me or you come to someone with a lot of experience and we create it together. Then you take that. That's the whole idea of using a recipe. That's the whole idea of being a focus chef. A focus chef should only ever use recipes that they get from a master chef. You should not be coming up with that
oh,
stuff on your own.
that's
And
a
you
good point.
and you need to realize everything is a recipe. Literally everything. So
I
when you
see.
say that you have a lot of little stuff to do, you're acting like you have to go and create that content. And that's not how it works.
Okay.
So my question is really, where do we store that once you have it? Where do we keep it? Do we keep it in Dynamics 365? Because is that where you have the emails?
They are just in my Outlook email. I need to add them in the database.
So you said they're in your Outlook email, but those emails actually show up in Dynamics if you open your Dynamics tab.
If I open up my dynamic tabs,
I mean, that's how,
even though they are new emails.
yes, you've had this training before. That's how it works. You have psychological barriers that prevent you from having the technological success. So you have to open your mind that technology is amazing. And when you
Okay.
embrace technology, it takes care of 99% of the work for you.
Oh, so I am still kind of old-fashioned. I think I need to do all of these things, but I
Not
actually should
kind of
let
old-fashioned,
technology.
extremely old-fashioned, especially with me by your side, telling you how it works, showing you a tutorial, and then waiting for you to embrace it, and you're still not embracing it. So when you get an email, do you not remember we had the tutorial? We both went into your email. I showed you how to hit
Correct.
the reply button, and I showed you how
Yes.
to open up the Dynamics tab inside your email. Has nothing to do with the
Correct.
Dynamics website, inside your email. Do you remember this?
I remember.
And then I also said, people that understand this well, they never even have to open up a Dynamics. They can do it all from inside of here. Do you remember that?
I remember.
Okay, well now you need to put that in action. You don't
And
get that kind of training. Okay, so I can see what you're getting ready to say. So I've trained for years. I already know what you're getting ready to say. You need to repeat successful words, not repeat
okay.
doubt and lack of success. So let's try those
Okay.
words again. So your turn.
So I am on my Outlook right now, and I think in order to put a Dynamic 365 system to detect all the new emails, I need to go on to each individual email and save those contacts. And then those would track to Dynamic 365.
No, I said to try again. I said I already know the thoughts that were in your head, and you need to try again and to speak from a place of success, not to speak of a place of doubt. So the place of success is, Microsoft's an amazing company. They've been around since they pretty much invented computers, and
Okay.
they already thought of the problem that you have, and then they created a solution for it. So if
Okay.
you are thinking of a hard task to do that's repetitive, that's slow, and that prevents you from having success, you need to realize you're the problem, not the software. The software already
Okay.
has something built into it that's going to fix that problem. And
Okay.
you need to move into a place of discovery. So when you're in that software, you need to then say, okay, I know this works. And the reason I know it works is because Microsoft's amazing. And the only reason I can't figure it out is because I haven't discovered it, or I didn't take proper notes, or I didn't look at the documentation correctly. And you need to spend 75% of your time just looking at your documentation and notes to make sure that you're using best practices and to make sure that you're
Okay.
automating as much as possible. And you need to do that daily. Every single time you go to a task, you need to ask yourself, am I automating? Am I using the tools? Am I doing ERP and DevOps to the best of my ability? And that's going to be about a 2-year journey before you figure it all out. And then you also need to do constant training and updating on your skills because, like I said, they're an amazing company. They keep on releasing new stuff all the time. And the more you train, the easier your job gets. Think of the people that got trained the best in the world possible 20 years ago on what Microsoft had to offer. Because 20 years ago, they were the top company in tech. And if you knew it well, you were the best. But that's 20 years ago. If those people learned 20 years ago and now they're still working today and they didn't learn anything new, they're no longer the best. Do you understand?
Understand.
So that's where you are now. You've had DevOps training. You've had the ERP. You need to remember that you're working with state-of-the-art software. It has artificial intelligence built in. It has machine learning built in. It has automated workflows that move your information very, very easily across all of the ecosystem.
Okay.
So once you accept that, you can then do your searches online and say, I need to bring a new contact from Outlook into Dynamics 365. And how many do you have to do that with?
How many emails? I have
Yes.
7 or 8 emails.
Okay, so that's one day. 7 or 8 in one day, or at least just in your morning. It might be more by your evening. Can you imagine if you did not try to train yourself and you became a lot more successful, what that would look like over the whole year? So let's say 10 a day. That's 3,000 a year, 3,500 a year that you're not
Right.
being optimized in because you refused to do the DevOps training that we've given you.
Okay.
You can't be cumbersome like that.
So how do I do this? How do I make them automatic? That way I don't need to add them to the system by myself.
You start with curiosity. You start just knowing that this software is amazing. You don't come to me and ask me the answer. You don't say that you can't do it and that you have to do things the slow way. You start with curiosity.
Okay.
I mean, I know the answer, but I've given you the answer before already. And I don't teach old dog new tricks twice. I'll teach you once, and if you don't take the right notes, you get yelled at the second time when you don't implement it. And that's the beautiful thing about having interns and about having other people that you work with. If as soon as you learn new skills, go teach them. Because it's going to make you so refined to have other people learning what you've learned.
Right.
So what do you think you should do?
What I did,
No, not what you did. What do you think? You just got brand new training. You have brand new information in your brain, brand new synapses happening in your brain right now that I gave you. So don't connect to what happened in the past, even if the past is 10 seconds ago. Think of the future and pave a new road in your brain with the information that you have.
so what I can do is I can go to the email and then there's 3 dots. I click the 3 dots and then there's a Dynamic 365 option. And then I click that Dynamic 365 and then it will bring me a sub-screen of Dynamic 365 in the email. The quickest way I can do is just track the email without input, like adding them in the system. Are they in the system right now? Yeah, it's tracked. The email is tracked, but that person is not in the system yet.
Just by you responding to them, it puts them in the system if you hit that Dynamics button.
Just by me responding to them.
Yes. It turns them into a contact in the system. It doesn't make them a lead, but it will make them a contact.
Oh, I understand.
So, but the thing about Microsoft is, I don't know what percentage it is. I'd say 80% of businesses are using it. And, well, I do know 80% of all computers in the world are using Windows 10. So not even business. Outlook is just used everywhere. So you have to realize the problems that you have, they have solutions. And you have to think with a smart company like that, how do they operate? Do you think they want people blowing up their phones all the time, asking them for help?
No.
So how do they turn 1 hour into 1,000 hours?
How do they do that?
Do they just make software and then expect 10,000 phone calls a day for people that have small questions like you have?
No.
And then they're like, well, yep, they have problems with our software. That's just how it is. What would they do instead?
They will make it automatic. That way, they solve the smaller problem, so they have energy to focus on the big problem.
What do you mean by they would make what automatic?
Just like the smaller things like replying to a simple email, a lot more automatic. That way, they have energy to focus on the bigger projects.
What about the idea of recipes? Do you think they have recipes?
I think they do.
Do you think they hide those recipes? And do you think the call service people have them? So when you call in, the call support has its own secret recipe, and you call that number and you wait on the line for, an hour because it's probably a really long wait, and then they eventually tell you the recipe.
I think they use a recipe instead of come up with their own thing.
And so how can you act as amazing as if you're the one that designed that program? How do you think that's possible? I don't want you just to be okay at it. I want you to be an expert at it, the best in the world.
Okay.
So how is that possible? How can you get the recipe that they have so it looks like you designed it and you're doing the exact same steps that the master chef at Microsoft is doing?
I can get recipes from you, I guess, right?
You could get them from me, absolutely. And I seem pretty awesome at this, don't I?
Yeah,
But the reason I seem awesome at it is because I use the master recipe. I don't give you a recipe out of my own head.
I see.
So I'm on a page right now that is the master recipe for what you're trying to do. And the way I found this recipe, I went to Google, but you can go to Baidu. I know you're in China. I mean, I can even type this into Baidu. Let's try it out on Baidu just to prove it. Baidu. Don't even know how to spell it.
BAI. Yeah, there.
Outlook Dynamics 365 new contact. That's what I'm typing into Baidu. Oh my gosh, it's got a crazy squiggly line button. And then it pops up the recipe. Dynamics 365 app for Outlook User's Guide. Right below it, it says 3 ways to access Dynamics 365. So I don't like this one as much because of the website that it's on. That is not an official Microsoft website. I do not like getting a recipe unless it's made from the master. So I click on that link, and then it says which version of the app do I have, user's guide for the latest version, and it has a lot of different things that I could do. And that's just a lot of reading, and I don't want to read that much. So I want to find the area. I mean, that's a lot of reading. So I'm going to press Control F, and I'm going to type in new. And the word new is in here 22 times. So I typed in new contact. So it's only in here twice. Track an email message that you create. Click track this email at the top of this. Nope, that's not going to help me either. So, and Lyra, you need to realize I spend 50% of my time looking up these recipes. So this is another official one. And I get excited when it looks official like this. It says Microsoft.com, has their official logos, official documentation. I know I'm at the right place where they're going to give me the right information. When to use this. So when I went on Google and I typed it in, the first result was Dynamics 365 app for Outlook User Guide. Is that the same thing I got on Baidu? Dynamics 365 app for Outlook User's Guide. Yeah, it's the same thing. And when we click into it, which version of the app do I have? So this one looks different, I think. Let's put them side by side. Are you following along?
Yes, I'm following.
I'm saying this for you. I already know this perfectly. I don't need any help with this.
Okay.
Okay, Dynamics 365 app for Outlook User's Guide. For Outlook User's Guide. So when I went on Baidu, it sent me to version 8.2. Where this one sent me to a new version that was just released
Right.
a few weeks ago. So when I look up these recipes, I do try to find the latest and greatest on the recipes. Okay, so I scroll down here and it says, add the app to Outlook. Have you done that yet?
Add the app into Outlook. I think we did it together, right?
Yes, we did.
Right.
And use the app for the first time. It says, select an existing email, and it says click to open up the Dynamics 365 button. And then it says, notes. If the recipient is already in, if it's already in your system, then it's going to be indicated above the name. It's going to say, I I don't know what it's going to say. But then it says, if the recipient isn't known to Dynamics 365, then click the plus button and then select Add as Contact or Add as Lead. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
What makes sense?
That we could add them as a lead or as a contact, but that's still manually.
That's not that much manually. And this is the official recipe from the official company.
Okay.
You don't have to open up Dynamics. You can go into your email and you click that plus button one time per email.
Okay.
Yeah, there are other automated ways to do it. We can scrape your email. We can set up an automated flow from your email. I don't want to do that, though. Every single email you get, we don't want to automatically turn into a lead. You're not going to get so many that you need that feature installed.
I see. Can you send me the link of this page, please?
No, I cannot. No, thank you. No.
Okay.
If I can research and I can find recipes, then you can research and you can find recipes.
I understand.
You rely on me too much and you think that I'm smart, and that debilitates you. I'm not smart. I'm patient and I research.
Right.
There's a big difference. I respect master recipes, and I will spend. I've only been using this Microsoft system a year and a half. It's not that long.
Right.
With how much of a master I am at it, a year and a half is not that long. And a year and a half ago, I knew nothing about Office 365. I had gotten so far away. I mean, I was a yoga coach living in the rainforest. I didn't use Microsoft stuff. I was using Google Suite and G-Docs, and I didn't use this stuff. But when I decided to switch to their platform, and this is what I always do when I use software, I'm like, okay, what does their documentation look like? Where are the recipes, and how can I master this? So you need to go and take the training modules. So they also say, learn customer engagement at your own pace. See the training module. Because they know if you're here and you're reading this recipe, it's probably because you don't know the software. And if you don't know the software, it's probably a good idea to go do their training. So I went and clicked on there, and this has advanced configuration for Dynamics, set up and manage Dynamics, all types of ideas that you can take in here, and that will help your career.
Awesome. I think I need to go back and do some more trainings on that, but that's just not the priority right now. But maybe I should get up early in the morning and just spend a few hours every day to learn in general. I feel like we need to constantly learning in order to increase the efficiency of our work.
That's the beautiful thing about teaching. Never teach your students what they need to know. Always teach your students what you need to know. And what
teach the student what I need to know instead of what they need to know.
Yeah, what the students really need to learn, any student in life. If you're going to a teacher for something, it's because you don't have inner patience. You don't have the curiosity of your own to go find information without a teacher. So if they're coming to you, it's because they lack curiosity. If they come to you, they lack inner passion, they lack inner drive, and they lack the patience to sit down and read a book. Because the best teachers in the world write books. The best teachers in the world put videos and courses together. The best teachers, they're not really spending so much of their free time with the students. So if a student's going to a teacher, it's because they lack that patience to read from the best teachers out there. Because think about it, what's better? Is it better to take this Microsoft online course made directly by Microsoft, or are you going to get better information to work with somebody in person that is not from the official Microsoft company? You're always going to get the best information going directly to the source. Always.
Right.
So if the people are too impatient to do that and they're coming to you, then share your journey with them. Say, hey guys, today I'm working on Dynamics 365 and the Power Platform Fundamentals. It's a 5-hour course and it's made for beginners. So you click on it, say I'm going to be here every Monday and you guys can learn with me. This is going to be for 5 hours. We'll do this for 5 weeks. And then you get through all of this, you get your badge, and you say you guys can get your badge right alongside of me. You'll get 1,000 XP points. And say, I'll even stop halfway, I'll answer questions. And then you get your badge, you get trained with this, and you go back through that platform learning what you want to learn. If you have a little kid that wants to learn, same thing, bring them into what you're learning, because they're going to be curious and passionate when you're curious and passionate. They reflect the attitude and emotion of the teacher. So my point in all of this, you have to follow recipes and you have to automate things and you have to use our entire system. So you said that you have a lot of little tiny stuff to do, and this might look like it's a tangent that I'm taking you on. This is not a tangent. You using the software to the best of your ability, putting those people in Dynamics, and using your app that we put on. I mean, we're paying for that. You have to use that stuff. Your time is more expensive than the tools that we have. So if you're not using your time well, then the tools become useless.
I see. I think I also need to go on live every morning. I'm trying to figure out ways to motivate myself, and I think the best way for me to do is just to go on live and to share what I'm learning on a journey. So I think that would help a lot.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
So what I would like to do, you can upload those people into Dynamics using that little plus button on there.
Okay.
And then right now, today, we don't have a template email. But
correct.
Learn to turn 1 hour into 1,000 hours. So
yeah.
Spend
so how do
a
we
whole
do this?
spend an hour or whatever on just a little short email, but make that email perfect, make it beautiful. Remember, it's business art. And then save that email into Dynamics as a template. And then after you save it as a template, the nice thing about that, it will actually show up inside your Outlook, and you never even have to go to Dynamics to access it. It just shows up as part of your template or sales literature.
That's right.
Were you going to say sales literature?
Yeah, I was gonna say sales literature.
Well, I don't know if the templates show up that way. I don't know. We'll have to play around with it and see. So I feel like you getting that advice from me, what I just said, is different than the recipe that you're going to try to execute on your own.
Right. I was just going to reply with some, normal email reply just based on a question. But also, it's really energy draining. It's not fun. And
well, your way,
and also,
you need to see that your way makes you a slave to work for the next 20 years.
Right.
My way allows you to automate it through a system, and we can even, it's not going to automate it today, but after we get that template in there and we start looking at all these emails that you get, we can start breaking down what the emails say in them. Like the emails will say, they might always have the same question in there. Hey, I'm interested in this. I'm curious about the pay for that. And however that comes in, we can read through it and we can come up with flows, automated flows that get rid of those tasks for you. But it starts today by creating a structure and a framework and you using the tools that are around you to the best of your ability. Now, at the same time, if you don't want to use Dynamics, we are going to be using talent for Dynamics for attracting talent. So you could go ahead in there and set up your responses through that instead of anywhere else. I think you need to spend more time in sales and less in attracting client stuff or attracting employees, staff. You can focus on staff in a month, and right now you should focus on sales.
I think so too. I think right now maybe I will only give attention to should I give attention to the Chinese VAs? We don't really have business for them to do right now. But they also could use this month of training if they want. And I do like that I have somebody that I'm responsible for actually being motivating as a leader, just to motivate myself to work harder.
Well, you don't want to spend too much time thinking about work. So it might look to you like I'm sitting here just talking and thinking and thinking and thinking about work, but that is not true. I am stopping you from doing bad ideas, and I'm encouraging you to do good ideas. I don't want to think. Thinking's for losers. Just have action. But when you have action, think, what can I do in 1 hour that's going to turn into 1,000 hours?
Always think that way. How can I turn 1 hour into 1,000 hours? Instead of like treating myself 1 hour as, I even like not treating my hours, really treat them as they deserve. I'm wasting a lot of my time.
Right. So you want to treat your hours like that, but then you also want to say, well, you're going to be in two modes in life. You're either going to need money or you're going to need resources and time. And right now, you want money. So if you want money, then do sales. And screw the other people that want to work for you. If they want to work for you, then sell the dream, but don't tell them about payroll. For example, you could say, I'm putting together these 5 programs, and if you come on now, then you can be part of my team, and we can build it together. Because a lot of them don't need money. A lot of them they're the same as you.
My energy.
Yes. And they'll say, I need somebody that helps me get up in the morning. My husband works, I have 2 kids, and it'd be awesome if we could both meet online at 9 a.m. every morning. And then you say, well, I'm doing some high-end sales in the corporate industry and then in a nonprofit, and once one of those sales goes through, it'd be exciting for me to have a team that I have that we've already been working together, that we both can continue on that work. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
So, but don't waste a ton of time on that. If they're not interested, then say, oh, whatever. Yeah, just go on your own. You can't sit there and sell a dream all day long when you don't have income coming in. Right. And same way with the interns. I do think it's beneficial to put a very quick template together, email, but save it into Dynamics as a template, and then send it to those 7 people today and give it to, you had about 20 or 30 interns that reached out to you before, and I would send it back to them. I don't know if you respond to those yet, but you need to have one email that's standard. But the problem, Lyra, you can't do that on your own. It has to go through the company standards, and I need to see what you're doing. Now, I can dig in deep to your emails and see, but I'd rather use the platform, and I'd rather look in Dynamics in the templates. Right. And I guarantee right now, if I go and look at the templates, you didn't make a template because you don't respect your time.
Mm-hmm.
You've already sent out probably 40 emails, maybe more, 100 emails. I don't know how many you've sent, but why would you send that many and not make a template? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the like intern outreach, I just used the same template, but it wasn't as good as the one that we can make together. And I want to make a new template that could last for a long time.
Well, I already had some on internships that you could have seen. I have some on Joint Handshake that you could have seen.
Well, actually, the template I have right now, I actually got all of those from the info we have on internship.com.
Okay. So you get the idea. You need to, it's interesting. You need to do work that allows you to stop doing work. You don't want to do work that's going to give you more work. You want to do work that gets rid of work.
Yeah. Yeah, all the content on in this template, they are all information I got from our stuff online. So.
Okay, so what I hear you saying is you're going to respond to those people. You're going to make every single archetype that you have, you need one template per archetype. So people that want a job, you need an archetype for that. People that want an internship, you need a template for that. And then people that want to do coaching with you, you need a template for that. So it sounds like you need 3 templates put together.
Internship, coaching, and what else?
Job.
Job, and parents.
Parents is people that want to do coaching with you. That's education, consulting, and they're the same thing.
They want to buy classes from me.
Yeah, they want to buy coaching. That's classes or coaching.
Okay. Okay. So how do I create one thing that fits all of them?
No, you need one for each.
One for each category.
Yeah. And then when those categories come, because you're always going to get people that want internships. You're always going to get people that want jobs. And then you're always going to get parents that want coaching.
Right.
So I would work on those 3 templates and then send them back out to all those people. And you said you already used my information. You could dig around in our files. We might have other information for the other one somewhere else. I mean, we've done this forever. If you look in OneNote, we might have files in there. But the CRM system's new to us, so I don't have past templates in the CRM for you.
Well, maybe I can add this template in the system, and it could become one of our sales literature.
Well, yeah, of course. I don't even know why you're asking that. Yes, that's very obvious. Duh. You turn it into sales literature. It's MVP1 sales literature.
Okay.
It should have been done a month ago when I gave you people a long time ago.
Yeah, we're learning.
You said we are learning?
I am learning.
Well, make your words right, because we are not learning. There's nothing I'm learning here. I'm giving, I'm guiding, and I'm repeating. So when you say it the right way, say, okay, I could have done that a month ago. I need to optimize my time better, and I need to streamline my work. Those are the right words that are affirmative that can lead you in the right direction. But when you say we are learning, it undermines the learning. It undermines what information you've just been given. Words are very powerful, very, very powerful. I mean, that's the only thing we've talked about so far. So let's recap on this. I said follow recipes 100%. Do not get recipes from me. Go online, get them straight from the source. I should be able to talk to you, and anything you're doing in the system, you should be able to show me the Microsoft documentation of where you learned it. It should not be some BS you make up in your own head. It shouldn't be from some guy you found on YouTube. It should always be from official documentation. And that's how powerful you're going to respect words. And then you're going to come up with templates, and you're going to put them in Dynamics. And since you're going to respect words and recipes so much, you're going to run those through management before you send them off to 20, 30, 50 people. And after management approves it, boom, that's MVP 1. We roll with that for 3 months. We roll with that for 6 months until we get more funding to go back in and turn it into MVP 2. This is just normal business practices. This isn't something that's crazy or unique to our business. This is just how every single business functions. And that long pause there is where you respond. And usually the best way to respond is it's active listening, where you actually repeat what you just heard so that it becomes retained better.
So what I have learned, so what I just heard from you is that I cannot make up my own things, and if I have a question, I should go online and search for the recipe myself. I mean, like lots of times we can find the recipe within our own firm, and if not, we can always like get the recipe from some official websites. And another thing you have been taught since yesterday was words are powerful. And if we don't use the right words, and that affect like our subconsciousness thinking.
Yeah, that's great. So something you said we have a lot of recipes in our own company, and if you can't find it there, you can go look online at the official company. I'm 50-50 on that. Our company's smaller than some of these, multi-billion-dollar companies, and they can update their recipe a lot faster than we can update our recipe.
Okay.
They just have more resources to do that. So when you're trying to do something with us, you might get frustrated that it's not working while you're following our recipe. But our recipe might be outdated, might be a year old. So it's always best to go look at the official recipe. And you might get yelled at for that. And that's cool, whatever. You might get yelled at and somebody be like, what the hell, you're not following the recipe that we have in this handbook. And if you say, well, they updated at the official site and that button isn't available anymore, so I went on the official website, I learned a new recipe, and that's what I did. But really, anytime you do a recipe and you can't it doesn't function for you, you should ask management to help you refine the recipe. Those recipes are literally every day we're creating new recipes, or we're refining old recipes. Every single day.
Well, I think after this, it make it sound a lot more fun. Like it turn chores, like some small stuff that I don't even want to do it, turn into these chores into something that is fun. Like we could create recipes for all of this. So in the future, like 1 year after this, we just pull out recipes and just give them the things we prepared like a year ago.
Well, think for example about the Ignite Curiosity website. I have been doing this for 20 years, and 20 years ago, we would try to tell people, we have fun, it's curious, you just find your own passion, pick whatever department you want. And we had to talk and talk and talk. Now, I mean, look at it from my perspective. My recipe grew so big, it turned into a brand. That brand grew so big, it turned into a culture. We now have people from all over the world that are here inside that what used to be a teeny tiny little recipe that was just one tiny email that I would send out. So what you're copying and pasting to people in an email, that can grow into a full company. That can grow into a full department, huge international, starting from one teeny tiny little 3 sentences that you keep copying and pasting. Because that's what the entire Ignite Curiosity program is.
Yeah. Well, like my previous company, they have a huge department just to respond to the questions from the teachers, and I've been with them for 2 years now. And they have gone to a phase that I think they have like answer banks, like the customer service agents. They would just, because they ask the teachers to put different categories, like put tags on their questions. So when the customer service agents, they see the text, they know where to find the recipes to answer these questions.
Right. Yeah, and all big companies do that so that it streamlines the process. But you have to see that process starts with you. You can't sit there and say,
Okay.
I don't matter. And you can't sit there and say, this task is boring and I don't want to do this. You have to realize you're building a recipe, you're building a brand, and yeah, it starts with something
I'm building
small.
a company. I'm
I was
building a department, actually.
No, that could be a whole company. I was actually talking with Charlotte today, and I was telling her what we were doing. I told her about the proposal management page that we made, and she's excited about it. She loves sales, loves it. She was telling me she was doing quality assurance with. Okay, so I was talking to her. It was probably 6 a.m. her time. She had just woken up, I think. It's her day off. And she messaged me and she said, hey, how's business going for you? I said, I just finished this proposal management thing because, it's 6 p.m. for me. And she's crazy excited saying, well, I just trained, 10 people over here. I'm doing quality assurance with them. We've now expanded these 3 departments. And she's excited that everything's running without her really needing to do anything. And that the client, she services a big flour company. She said the client is just super happy with all of their work. Everything's being automated. She has 57 different agents, and she goes in and listens to their calls to make sure that those 57 agents are following the recipe 100%. And then if they don't follow the recipe 100%, then she steps in and does training with them to get them back on track on what that recipe is. So what you're doing now, you're not going to be doing this 3-4 years from now, but today I need you to lay down the standards on what that recipe is. Otherwise, I can't hire a department like Charlotte's.
Charlotte, I understand better now.
Because for her, if you just send random emails out and you never put recipes together, she's going to be sad. She's like, well, why is that department not growing? Why are you guys not treating it like it's an actual department? She's like, because I can never step in unless there's some official process.
I see.
So I already have that whole proposal management page put together. And yeah, you are already getting leads. And what I want you to do with your leads is, you're the psychology girl. I want you to sit there and think, what is the perfect email to send back? Just one perfect email. I'm sitting here.
Send like a name terms.
I'm sitting here with cash, and I'm wondering, when do I hire the sales team to come in and take that over? But I at least need the first few to be sent out, and I need the first few to be successful.
I understand.
If we keep getting negative and it's not working, then we still need to stay in this strategizing phase. And as soon as it works and it flows beautifully, then that's a green light. Then I'm going to ramp it up a lot. But think how disastrous it would have been, like before we had all these phone numbers. We just got these phone numbers last week. Think how disastrous the company would have been if I brought on 30 sales agents and I didn't have all those phone numbers for them. That would suck.
Right.
And then this whole sales management section. Think if I brought 30 sales agents on and I didn't have the entire philosophy and approach put together. That also would suck. And what was it, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I put that nonprofit hub together and I set that up all beautifully. I mean, we're moving really fast on our whole sales department.
I think so too. Like, you have I feel like I'm being dragged by you. It's like I'm just right on the roller coaster, and you just keep like flying the ship every day.
Yeah. But what I want you to realize when I'm doing that, learn to streamline things. Find something that you know we're going to need forever. I mean, responding to somebody on their first inquiry about who we are and they want their kid to sign up with us. You can write the first email. Now, English is not your first language, but put it together the best that you can and then put it up in Dynamics as a template. And then tell me,
Okay.
you can even put a task for me up. You could say, put a task for you. You need to go and review that. I have one for parents, I have one for interns, and I have one for people that want jobs. And that's going to be MVP 1. I go check it out. I clean up the language in it. But we both need to motivate each other. Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
At the same time, I'm cool with you being chaotic. So you can throw everything I said out the window. And right now, you need to do sales to make sure that your position in the company is secured.
Yes.
You need to cover your next 6 months by doing your own sales. And then after you cover your 6 months, then you start working on structuring your next 5 years. And how you structure your next 5 years is through turning 1 hour into 1,000 hours. And then that just becomes your philosophy. Anytime anybody ever asks you a question, instead of just getting right to work, you're going to sit there and think, how can I turn this into 1,000 hours? And that's what separates us from a lot of other companies. That's what allows us to grow so much. We've done this for 20 years now. We have so many departments. That whole fitness company that I made, it can run 100% automated with no person in it ever for the rest of my life because I've thought this way since I started that company.
Demo?
Yeah. I mean, I have to revamp the new website. I know you're excited about that. I don't have the new website done, but imagine...
I'll use it if it's ready.
Imagine if I had all my podcasts on there, videos on there, books on there, and all it had was a group of girls on the chat like we have here. But instead of, 100, we had, 1,000 girls on there all going through that program. That's it. That's all it needs. And we've had that before. We've just shifted over to this new system. So I just have to build one new interface for it. So my point is, all those videos we have filmed all over the world. And think about that. I have my Saturday free. I can do whatever I want. And I decide, let's go spend $10,000 of the company money and let's build a video that's going to last for 50 years. So that's what we did. Where I said, let's spend our time and write a book that's going to last for 50 years. So that's what we did. I wrote that book like 15 years ago. It is still 100% relevant to help people lose weight this very moment. And when anybody asks me to lose weight, I tell them, read my book. And they're like, oh, I had no clue you knew anything about fitness. Because I'm done with that company. I don't need to touch it anymore. So that's what we're doing with all of this. We're just streamlining everything, spending 1 hour, turning it into 1,000. So with that, I think that you have enough information to spend some time on your own. Go up in the mountains, go for a run, exhaust yourself, come back, meditate on the computer, and realize it's business art. Those templates have to be beautiful. They have to have your artistic touch. You're as much of an artist as I am. I add a different touch to it. I'm going to make sure your email's technical. I'm going to make sure it has the right bullet points and checklists in it so that they have all the right references to get where they want to go. And I'm just going to make sure it's grammatically correct so it has all the perfect English. But you're going to add the personality to it. You're going to make it warm, inviting. You're going to highlight the areas of our company that you think are the most exciting for people. You're going to add color and bring a family vibe to it. And you do that. I can do that, but that's harder for me. And you can have perfect grammar It's just harder for you. So learn to blend our strengths, and then we can come up with those very easily, because I want you to do this in multiple departments, and this is just the start of that.
Okay, sounds good.
And then I want to translate a lot of that into Chinese so that you have these templates. I mean, after I see them and I clean them up, then you can convert them back
Right.
into Chinese.
Yeah, definitely.
And then we'll have the Chinese version in the system, the English version in the system, and we'll probably get someone like Richie to help us turn it into Tagalog.
Filipinos.
Yeah, so that
Okay.
she can also send the same, because she's going to need her own assistance over there, but and a lot of those teams that we work with over there are going to need that. But it's nice to have it in the local language so they can see how much they can help locally. So do you want to cover anything else now?
I think I'm just having a hard time to motivating myself. That's the main problem I have right now. It's like,
I disagree.
but
I
I
disagree.
also have something that I worry about, that I really need to push myself harder to achieve my goals.
Well, we've been on the phone for an hour and a half. If you just realize how important recipes are, how powerful words are, and how you need to follow protocols, follow policies and procedures. And if a policy and procedure does not exist, it's not because I don't want one. It's just because we haven't had the funding yet to create one. So be someone in the company that helps us get that policy and procedure in place. We need a policy and procedure everywhere.
That's true. That's pretty true, and that will keep us running a lot smoother.
So take this hour and a half and have success knowing that you've accepted all of that stuff. You can take a break and come back, and if all you achieve is those 3 emails, then that's a lot of success. That's MVP
Okay.
1 for 3 complete different departments.
Okay.
And then even just learning how to upload those into Dynamics into the right areas. And you can do some test emails to send it off to me, send it off to one of your other email addresses, see how it looks, make sure it works right. It's a learning curve. It's a learning curve of how to automate yourself. And then visualize yourself having an assistant working for you, and just thinking when an email comes in, they never write a word. They just choose the right template that you put together. And then that's a beautiful dream that we feel we get the exact quality control we want, but we also get to automate and hand off projects. It's the best of both worlds.
I think so too.
And then I'd rather you create more problems. I'd like you to bring more leads in. I'm not in a rush with that, not even with what your goals are. I'm very aware of what your goals are. And I'm not in a rush for you to hop onto leads. When I say I'm not in a rush, you don't need to do it today. Focus on these templates today, and also focus on, you do need some bullet lists for your education package for tomorrow. I know I've already told you what to sell.
Packages tomorrow, and then also just trying to figure out what to talk about in a meeting that will be a lot more, like in the Ignite Curiosity meeting, that will make you a lot more information. But also, I also have a feeling that I already know all the answers. I just need to go with the flow. But also, I think it's good.
It's like the 2 months that you trained before you did your first English lesson. It's like, come on, you don't need that much training.
Yeah, I know, but I also, you've seen me like how much effort I put in before I teach my first English lesson. So, and it would be the same thing for me when I start my STEAM lessons with Cindy, when I start my like first 10 ignite curiosity. Like my first 10 lessons with everything, ignite curiosity, um, STEAM classes, and then once I get a groove of that, and then I will feel a lot more relaxed. Yeah.
Well, embrace the chaos. The whole idea with our whole program is that it is quite unorthodox. It's not very structured. And the reason we don't have that structure is we honor the fact that the mind loves chaos. You'll hop from, that's why it's STEAM. You'll hop from science, tech, engineering, all across the board to all kinds of different subjects. And we don't want very clear lesson plans. We want action. We want curiosity. If that child's curious, keep them curious. Whatever they like. They like violin, focus on violin. They like science, focus on science. Let them feel that it's okay to have a curiosity, an itch for curiosity, and then you be their buddy in it.
And I think this is a privilege for Chinese children, because the other day one mom, she reached out to me and say, I feel like my son is suppressing his energy inside. And I asked the mom, I was like, does he have enough time to do whatever he likes?
How old's your son?
10 years old.
Do they have him in all types of academic activities?
Yeah, he's actually live at school.
Oh my gosh.
Like he's just 10, he lives at school, and he only
When you say lives, kind of like, you mean literally lives?
College. Yeah, college.
Wait, he's 10 years old?
Yeah. So they have a campus, I think. And then
but
they
why
have
is he
a
at
campus
college?
And they have the...
Do you not mean middle school? Do you mean he's at middle school?
He's in elementary school, I'm pretty sure. And then they have
so
have the areas for the campus, and then they have the area that the kids they can live at school. I forgot. Dorm. They have the dorms that they could live at. So yeah, he only sees his mom like once every 10 days. And now the kid doesn't want to come back home. I mean, the mom wants him to like go live, come back home every night, but now he doesn't want to, because he feel like if he miss out from the school activities, then he's falling behind. You know, like in China, there are just lots of academic competition and it really drives you nuts. Like, I mean,
well, you know what I would say. You can't look at the small details with a parent like that, and you can't help them with small details. You have to look at the 10-year goal or the 20-year goal. So, how old is the kid? You've told me 3 different things. You have to get your words right. The kid cannot be in elementary school if he's 10 years old. That does not exist.
Why not?
Well, I mean, maybe in China that's what we call elementary. We call that middle school in America. We don't call that elementary. I could be wrong.
He's 10. He's probably like 3rd grade.
Ages.
So.
Student begin elementary at age 6 and graduate at 13. Ooh, I might be wrong.
Right.
Begin at 6 and they graduate at 13. And they call that elementary. Whatever. I'm not going to call this elementary. Even as a specialist in the education field, I'm just not going to do it. That's not elementary. Elementary, if you break that word down, it means the basics. It means the first element of education. So that should be ABC. That should be 1, 2, 3. That's an elementary education. I thought those are
kindergarten or preschool.
Those are elementary education pieces. It's the building blocks of life. So when you're 10 years old, you do not need elementary education. We need to lift people higher than that. That's ridiculous. Yeah, so of course his soul is going to be dead if he's living at school. And I mean, I was a geek at school, crazy big time. I loved everything I did. But you know, at the same time, my mom was not very rich. She was a hairdresser. She only had 3 days a week of work, and she did it on purpose so she could spend so much time with her kids. When all three of us were young, she would come into our school. She would read to the whole class. She just spent a lot of time with us when we were kids, up until I was about 10 or so. And I think that does help in the development years for children. So anyway, I was telling you about that parent. Okay, so he's 10 years old, and he's losing his soul, but he's living at school. I don't know if that's his decision or hers, but there's a lot of different solutions. And you need to always ask. Don't ask what their solution, or don't ask about their problem today, and don't ask about what their goal is at the end of the year. Do the opposite. Say, when he's 30 years old, what is the goal? Okay?
Okay.
And then that will shift the conversation. If they say, well, we want him to be married, have a great job, have a child, and carry the family name forward. You know, that's probably a typical dream to have for a child.
Right.
Am I right on that?
Yeah, probably.
So learn to work backwards from a goal instead of work forwards to a goal. So if that's their dream, then he should follow in the footsteps of success instead of following in the footsteps of just very bad statistics. The Asian culture has a very high rate of suicide by how hard they push people on academics.
Right.
There's just a lot of pressure to succeed. And if you look at the whole world, I wouldn't even say America is very high up at this. Norway is actually really high. So you can even talk to Sammy to see, you know, what kind of culture do you guys have? What we're doing here with the Ignite Curiosity program, Steam Hive and all of that, it is not normal in America, not at all. So we are very, very elegant and sophisticated on how we treat our students. And we also have amazing success with that. But some other countries, it's more standard to treat kids like that. It's more standard to only have a few teachers in the whole life of the child and curate their whole career all the way through. So if you ask them what their end goal is 20 years from now, then that's going to help them get excited about our whole program.
I see. Instead of like focus on the short-term problems.
Well, yeah,
I
she's
did tell
saying
her to.
he's sad
I,
today and he doesn't want to come home today. She's focusing too much on today. Focus on the 20-year
right.
goal, and then let's set up some 6-month milestones. If you think about that, if you have 6-month milestones for 20 years, then that is only 40 sprints you have with a child until he's 30 years old. It's not very many.
So you treat each child as like a project.
Yeah.
That's pretty true, actually. They are a project. So,
But talk to the parents that are excited. Our websites already look good enough. If they speak English, they do not need to be sold at all. They just need to see it. Now, if they don't speak English at all, then your job should be to be a translator. And you should let them know, as by mid-2020, this is going to be all in Chinese as well. So it's not a problem. You can be there today, one-on-one with them in Chinese, but by mid-2020, we'll have the whole program in Chinese.
okay. Yeah. Okay, I think I have enough information for today, unless you still have some other things you want to talk about.
No, I think it's good. Just stay in touch with your progress on the templates. I'm going to stop working now, but I'll be back in about 8 hours, 6 hours, something like that.
Okay.
And I can help then, but at least have something online for me to see to help with.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for lifting me up. I know you have done that a lot, and
I don't know how I lifted
but
up.
overall, I need to lift up myself. And I think being a manager that um responsible for others, you help me to get mature a lot faster.
Yeah, it'll be motivating for you too. When they wake up in the day and they
Yeah.
say, "Hey boss, what's my job?" You're going to be like, "Whoa, I'm a boss." And
I don't
also,
want to be a boss. I don't want people come over to me and ask for me questions all the time, and that's what they like to do, and they think that's okay.
oh yeah, says Lyra, who can't even figure out how to go into Dynamics when she had personal lessons from me on it. Your karma is already written in your spirit. You're going to have students that don't follow directions, that don't read documentation. That's You're destined
I
for it.
have the right to choose whoever I want to put close to me. So
No, you don't. You're going to have 500 Derek's.
I don't mind Darius. They are freaking smart. They are so fun to be around. They actually push me to push myself harder.
It's amazing you'd be
I
pushed by a little
love
5-year-old,
Derek's.
but
Yeah, those
500
years
of
old, they
them?
are awesome. I would love to have 505 years old. They are awesome.
Well, you're going to
I
have
mean,
500 Derek's in the age of a 30-year-old's body.
that's not fun because they are not cute anymore. So they are going to be really intimidating because
Intimidating.
I can't handle like a 30 years old and tell me that I have to pee pee in the middle of the meeting.
Well, maybe they won't be that part of his personality.
That's what
Yeah.
5 years old they do. They just say, I want to pee pee, and they just like fly away and I come back. Okay, I'm back. Now what?
Yeah,
Just,
so set
that's
up some
what they
call to
do.
actions for yourself and just make sure that today you hit those goals and then you're on track. And then the next time that we
Okay.
meet, you need to just get these emails done, get the templates done. It's very easy, super easy. And then the next time we
Okay.
meet, you also need to learn how to do lead generation. And
Okay.
I want to cover setting milestones up on lead generation. And
Okay.
it's as simple as calling people and emailing people and putting a number on how many you're reaching out to. And gluing yourself to your desk, closing your mouth, not doing anything else besides emailing and calling until you get results. And if you're not
Okay.
going to do it that way, then go out in public and do it in public. But either way, I've told you
Okay.
that for months. You haven't done it yet, so you're gonna do it tomorrow.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay. All right. Have a good evening. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. That's all we got today.